Greetings. This is your brother Elder Blacklight, serving you up with the kind of flavor that will save you, and the kind of knowledge you won't get in college. Let's get right to it. We're exploring the number 7 and what it has to do with today's times. Found out that Detroit got 7 letters in it. The area code adds up to a number 7. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the 7th son. And he also died at the age of 77. And I'm 77. My birthday was this past July. Born in 1946 into the Nation of Islam. And we can go on with that 7. But I was born at a time where the Nation of Islam wasn't too long materialized. And a lot of brothers that you hear now, they wasn't born in the nation, and a lot of them was born, but they was born when Wallace D took over. Some of y'all was born when Farrakhan took charge. But I was born when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was in charge. And the first 7 years, my mother was attending the meetings. After that, she dropped out. By me being only 7 years old, I dropped out. And she went to the white man's world. So I often blamed her for that. But my father told her, let him choose which one he wanted to be with, although he wasn't with the Nation of Islam. So a lot of you having problems with Master Farad Muhammad leaving. A lot of you having problems with Honorable Elijah Muhammad dying. A lot of you having a lot of problems with how's Master Farad Muhammad God, or Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Why did he choose Messenger Elijah Muhammad? And why is it fragmented now? Very simple question to answer as far as I'm concerned. Because he was the firstborn of the dead. What do that mean? That means that he was the first to come into the knowledge of self. The rest of us, were deaf, dumb, and blind. Now, Master Farad told us that we were of the God tribe Shabazz. We are the original Asiatic black man. And how to get this across to you? You can barely talk English, you can barely add, you can barely read back in those days. And we were raised by no other than your enemy, which they termed as the devil. Why did they term him as the devil? He explains it by saying he was grafted from the original, which make him artificial. That's the language that we will use now. So how can you get a language across to a people that don't know science They're very superstitious. They were programmed with Walt Disney and cartoons and Mickey Mouse, Superman, and and Christ Christ or Jesus was white, and the Pope of Rome is white. Well, how can you get all of this across to the people? You can't tell it to them on a higher level because they will never understand you. So you got to break it down and do it in levels and parts. So at the meanwhile, the enemy, his scientists, they've been coming up with formulas to keep us deaf, dumb, and blind. They haven't stopped using their mind and their brain. But for 400 years, we were programmed not to use our minds and to rely on the enemy for our very survival. So I came up at a time where my mother and father left me alone a lot while they worked, trying to get ahead in the white man's system. And I was left alone at 6 years old. But my mama, by her being of the Nation of Islam, she was programmed to do for self, and she programmed me to do for self. So she taught me how to cook, how to iron my own clothes, how to sew, and she taught me how to follow her instructions and her and my father's instructions, no matter what. And so when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, I was out there hustling, not illegally, but using legal means to hustle, like selling. I sold Chronicle magazines, I sold Ebony magazines, I sold Jet magazine, I sold Royal Crown, I sold Murray's hair, So we're gonna come back just a little later in the next one to tell you that Detroit was the testing grounds. This is the testing grounds right now. And so by this being the testing grounds, things happen here first. But it had to be explained to you why it's first and why it's going to be the door to a new beginning. Assalamu alaikum.